Blessed to have you here. Thank you. Well, Happy New Year. Oh, this is going to kick it off. This morning at around 4, Stella came to me and said, it's raining like crazy here, and I said, is it snowing? And she says, yeah, it's snowing. I said, it can't be snowing. So anyway, I got up and went over into the place where I like to work on my talk, and I said, Source, what did I tell you last night? It will not snow until today afternoon. And I'll be darned, I looked out and it stopped snowing. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I'm sure I had nothing to do with it. Last week, Linda took a poll of you folks, those of you who were here. How many were there? And she asked the question, she said, how many of you do New Year's resolutions for the new year? And one person raised her hand, and I thought, my gosh. And so I'm not going to ask that question today. She has the record. But last year, the Fresno Bee printed an article that was about a survey that was taken to see how many people do New Year's resolutions, and the survey indicated that 45% of all Americans do New Year's resolutions, but only 8% are successful. Isn't that incredible? And so you start wondering, is it possible that we don't do New Year's resolutions because we don't follow them anyway, and why bother? Or is there a deeper reason for not doing it? Is there a better way for us to experience success in the new year rather than just doing resolutions? We ask ourselves that question. Today we'll focus on a much deeper reasons that will encourage us to transcend doing resolutions. And one of the things that I created this morning, by the way, I'm very egotistical when I stand up here, but I created a new idea, a new theme for 2013. And so the first thing we need to do, we need to embody and accept as realization the fact that, ready? We are supreme in 2013. Do you like that? I came from Source this morning. And let's personalize it today. We say, I am supreme in 2013. Let's say that. I am supreme in 2013. Okay, this is going to take us on our journey. I think we're all warmed up now. What this means is that we realize that we embody the fact that we are whole and complete. That as spiritual beings occupying this space called form, that we do not have a need for anything. We need nothing. We do not need to ask for something. That we're whole and complete. And we embody it and we accept it. And so this supremacy of our beingness dictates what we're going to experience during the year. And we also need to, while we do that, we accept the supremacy of what we are, we need to accept the fact that there are tools that we use to manifest in our life experiences whatever we want to experience. You see, in this New Thought belief system, we think that everything exists already. It's our theory, and we accept it as fact. That everything already exists in mind, and all we're doing is calling it forward so that it experiences itself in the physical form. Anybody agree with that? And so what we do is we use the tools of our supremacy. And what are those tools? All of you know, I'm talking to the choir, I know that. We visualize. What else do we do? We meditate. We allow. And we do some other things too. We dream. Those are all tools of our beingness. These are tools of our supremacy. And that's what we are. And what's so incredible about this month, I think, is the fact that we have a choice. We can choose how we want to experience this life experience, this human experience. We can choose. And you might say, well, what are the choices? Number one, we will always be supreme. We cannot ignore that. We are supreme. We always will be supreme because that is our nature. But the choice is this. We have the ability and to choose to experience the life form in a lower state of consciousness. We can actually do that. And the majority of our population does this. So this month is not about resolutions. It's about choice. How do I choose to experience this human drama? And there are two choices. There's always a couple of choices. The first choice, do I want to experience this life form not as what I really am, but in a lower state of consciousness? Is that how I want to experience this? And what this means is that when I experience the items and the events of the day, we do not come from that empowered consciousness that we are supreme. We come from the consciousness that our success depends on something, that our abundance depends on something, that we are under the domain of something. And the false perception is this, that that's where our happiness comes. That if we take care of the some things, that our joy and abundance and our happiness will come from that. That's lower state of consciousness. How many of us stay there? We're rooted in this idea that my joy and my abundance will come from my bank account. I know we have to pay our bills, I know that. But when we talk about cause and effect, what is the cause of the bank account? The cause is we go to a higher state of consciousness. We put in mind that we are one with, we are the supreme. We are in the image and likeness. That's who we are. And so the bank account, it doesn't depend on things necessarily. It depends on a consciousness that brings into our experience that which we want. It's as simple as that. That's the first choice. The first choice is to relegate ourselves to the physical. The second choice is to be all that we can be in the moment at all times. And what this means is that things don't bring us joy, things don't bring us abundance, things don't bring us success. We are joy. We are success. We are abundance. That's who we are, for goodness sakes. And that's what we'll experience when we put that idea in mind. So being in that consciousness of the Supreme means that if I desire something, if I want to become something, or whatever it is that I want to experience in human form, then I go ahead and I feel good about it. I visualize it, and we accept the fact that in New Thought, that everything is always already in place in mind. And all I need to do is call it forward. Do we accept that? All I need to do is call it forward. And so what we do, a lot of my New Thought ministers, I don't think you like this statement, you fake it until you make it. We've all heard that. Yeah, it's fake it until you make it. I don't even like the word fake. We're being it. We become that which we want to experience. That's what's important in our lives. We need to become that. If I want wealth and I want health, I can't mope around the fact that I'm in lack. You can't, it doesn't work that way. That's the consciousness of the first choice, that I'm not all that I can be. And so it's kind of fun. And in the supremacy consciousness, which is kind of neat, we accept that theory, but we put into place then those tools, those spiritual tools that bring in to our experience that which we desire. Many years ago, we had a speaker at one of our conferences, and she said, over the years, I've tried to lose weight. I've done resolutions every year, resolutions. And over the years, I've gained probably 900 or 1,000 pounds. And she said, some years I say, I'm going to lose 1 pound a week. That's doable. And then it didn't work. And then 5 days. And then I decided, oh, I love candy, which I do. I love candy chocolate. But anyway, and then so so that's why I looked the way I looked. But anyway, so then one year she put in a resolution that I'm going to not eat candy. I'm just going to cut down my candy. Or I'm going to do push-aways. We know what push-aways are. You don't eat as much and you push away. And she kept gaining weight. So finally this New Thought minister friend of hers said, why don't you try something different? And see, because she was in that first consciousness. That my weight depends on the outer experience. It depends on the food I eat. And that's true, some of it. But he said, why don't you try this? He said, rather than criticizing how you look, why don't you bless your body? Be happy for it. Thank it. And put into mind that, here's that second conscious, that your greater good is already there. That your health and well-being is already there. and you'll be amazed at what the universe will do for you. She said, I was amazed after practicing this for a few months. She said, I started not wanting to eat so much. Now, she didn't design this. She didn't have a resolution. She said, automatically, I started not wanting to eat so much. My appetite really was dilled. It's a Pizeloism. And, yeah, it will be in the dictionary. And my desire for a lot of candy diminished. And she said, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just loved my body and thanked it. And she said, I lost 40 pounds the first year that I tried this. Let's clap for Carol. Woo! I want to bring to mind something that will kind of clarify, and it's kind of like not a fable, but it's like a metaphor for us for this month. And it's about the Brahma bull. Anybody want to hear? Anybody know about the bull? The bull. This is not a lot of bull. ESPN a few years ago, they were filming a bull riding contest. And so this young guy, he's like 23 years old, had a lot of confidence. And he said, and they interviewed this guy because he was in the contest. And they said to him, well, who do you think the odds-on favorite is to win this bull riding? He says, I am. Well, really? And what makes you think that? He says, over the last few months, I've been studying this whole idea. And I have found that when a person's in unison with the bull, when his body's in sync with the bull itself, that I do my very best. And he said, and there's one other thing. I not only do the physical, I got to do the mental. So what I do, I visualize myself riding the bull, and we were having a good time and going for a great ride. Oh, really? And so how long have you been riding these bulls? He said, I've never ridden a bull. He said, and that was a lot of bull. He said, I've been riding for the last 6 or 8 months. I've been studying this. And I've been riding this mechanical bull at the exercise center. And he said, and you think you're going to win this? And they were kind of chuckling. He said, absolutely. There's no doubt. I've already studied it, and it's going to happen. That's that consciousness we're talking about, you know? That I'm a supreme being. And anyway, so the first bull rider gets on, and it's a struggle. So how many of you seen a bull rider? He's struggling, and he's struggling. It becomes quite a fight. And all of a sudden, he gets thrown off. The second bull rider lasted a little bit longer, and the third, but they still have the same fate. The young guy gets on, comes out, and he's in unification with the bull itself. He's one with the bull. We're enjoying the journey. He's taking these smooth, and he's really enjoying the ride. It's really kind of cool. It's so nice. And of course, he won. Okay, what's that all about? How does this have to do with New York, the New Year? Well, it has a lot to do. In Hinduism, the Brahma bull is the supreme being. This is a metaphor for today. It's a story of our life. It's a story of our choices. That's what this is. And I think the reason I'm bringing it forward is I think if we can think about the word no bull, we may remember it. But anyway, if we choose... If we choose to unify and know that we are the supreme being on this bull, that we are one with and we're unified with it. However, if we decide differently, if we decide that our success and the success depends on